I did say that you had a stomach something was coming out of both sides, which it was.
I was in the emergency room I was so
dehydrated. You were dehydrated, yeah.
I was like dry mouth, and I couldn't keep enough water down to get hydrated. So I went to the emergency room for that, and that's just it.
You can tell she's still a little. You're still a little weakish, it seems.
I'm not 100.
Yeah.
I'm on my way to 100.
There was something going around where you were.
Five people.
Dave Chappelle just dropped a bombshell claim about why Oprah mysteriously disappeared from the spotlight last year, and it's sending shockwaves across the internet. Chappelle pointed to alleged ties between Winfrey and Jeffrey Epstein, even suggesting she may have served as a gateway into Hollywood's most elite and darkest circles. Whispers are growing louder about leaked island footage and explosive statements connected to Ghislaine Maxwell that supposedly pull back the curtain on what truly went down in Epstein's world, and why Oprah may be desperately trying to keep a low profile. Back in 2024, the pressure began mounting when a bombshell partial release of court documents tied directly to the Epstein case burst into the public eye, and nobody has been the same since.
Happy to say joins us right now in studio. I'm so glad you were here. And I'm so sorry that Oprah can't. Yesterday she said, I'm going to rally. She had some kind of stomach flu where stuff was coming out of both ends. I won't get too graphic. But needless to say, she ended up in the hospital, dehydration, get an IV. So it was a very serious thing. So it had to be.
I hope she's okay.
Yeah. She will be okay. She will be okay. I hope she's not mad at me for sharing that.
For the first time, real names, flight logs, and private emails began surfacing, and people everywhere started furiously digging through every damning detail. Almost immediately after those documents dropped, Oprah suddenly vanished from public life, reportedly struck down by illness. Gayle King went on CBS This Morning, assuring viewers that Winfrey had come down with the flu and had been hospitalized, but the timing felt deeply suspicious to many, and the questions came pouring in fast. Now critics are firing back, insisting that illness may not have been the whole story. Many believe it was a conveniently timed exit from the spotlight, especially as her name allegedly began surfacing deep within those very documents, with even more explosive files later released by the Department of Justice. The situation only grew more intense as claims emerged that Oprah's name appeared multiple times in direct connection to Epstein. Disturbing rumors also began swirling around flight logs tied to Epstein's infamous private jet, with suggestions that Winfrey may have been aboard on several trips. Being on the same plane proves nothing on its own, but people are pointing to what they call an impossible pattern to ignore.
Crazy stuff that's written makes me so sad because I've lived such an honorable life, and I'm not trying to make myself look like Miss Goody Two-Shoes, but I really do, one of the things that Maya Angelou had said to me years ago is that I am obedient to the call. So I've done like you all have done. I mean, I can honestly say that I have never done anything to consciously cause harm to another person. I can't think of one thing that I would have done in this life. And I feel that from y'all too, some good people in here. And so to hear people say things that are just crazy, like I'm a part of a cabal and there's a whole conspiracy with children, that stuff makes me.
From elite parties to high-profile gatherings, critics are now saying Oprah seemed to find herself present in some deeply controversial circles at all the wrong moments. When confronted with the swirling allegations, Winfrey responded with raw emotion, saying it cuts deep to hear people speak so negatively about her. She passionately insisted that she has lived a life of honor and has never caused harm to a single soul, but if anything, that response only made the questions grow louder and the scrutiny more intense.
School. And I spoke to all the girls personally, and I encouraged all of them, any of them who had actually been harmed, to please come forward.
And keep this in mind, this is the very same Oprah whose prestigious leadership school became engulfed in serious, deeply troubling controversy. Back in 2007, Winfrey launched the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for girls in South Africa with a bold and powerful mission to change lives. But just a few years later, everything came crashing down when a major scandal involving a staff member exploded into the public eye, shattering the carefully built image of one of the world's most celebrated humanitarians. Disturbing reports began surfacing about shocking incidents inside the school, with claims that several vulnerable students had been horrifically mistreated. More than 15 girls reportedly came forward, bravely accusing a dorm matron of abuse, immediately igniting a firestorm of outrage and intense media scrutiny. Even more alarming, some students began questioning just how much the leadership actually knew at the time, with deeply unsettling rumors spreading that warning signs may have been deliberately ignored.
I have not wavered because I've had girls at my school who were sexually assaulted and I have never won a case. And the reason I have never won a case is because when you put a girl on the witness stand and she can't remember, was it Thursday or Wednesday, it's automatically discredited. And so when you're in the midst of trauma, something terrible things happening to you, you may not remember the exact time. It's why, like, if I hear a noise or something in my house, I like look at the time because they're going to ask what time was it? Oh my God, what time is it? So if you can't remember the day and the time and the da-da-da-da, everybody's like, well, okay.
I guess it never happened.
Guess it never happened. Oh, I said it was that hotel, but it was that hotel. Oh, it probably never happened. So I've been through that.
Feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, you're crazy because everybody wants to believe it's like sexual assault and you're being thrown up against the wall and you're being... And I have said for years, if the abuser is any good...
Winfrey stepped forward to address the situation publicly, expressing what she described as genuine shock and deep disappointment. But critics weren't buying it for a second. Voices online began pushing hard, claiming that her response fell dangerously short of matching the true gravity of the situation, while others took her words and twisted them into something far more explosive and controversial. The entire ordeal rapidly became a massive, irreversible stain on what was supposed to be one of Oprah's most inspiring and legacy-defining projects. But here's where it gets even bigger, because Winfrey is far from the only powerful name being dragged into this storm.
Completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay. When you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see it before. Look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, they're trying to kill me.
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I felt like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress.
Dave Chappelle was decapitated in front of us. They called him Pilot Boy because he had 19 pilots in Hollywood and everybody passed on him and said his show wasn't worth it. Then when he made $500 million, they said even though his contract said he should get half of it, they said he made too much for the contract to be valid, so we'll offer you 10% of what you made. You mean he made $500 million and they offered him 50? Yes. And he said, what do you think my fans are gonna say when they find out you offered me 10% of what I made you? And they said, your fans will believe that you're a crazy kid by the time you get home. He got on a flight in LA, and by the time he got to Ohio.
Explosive figures like Diddy, Harvey Weinstein, and R. Kelly have all been dominating major headlines, and the shockwaves just keep coming. And every single time devastating new information surfaces, critics say the industry scrambles desperately to distance itself as fast as humanly possible.
Publicly supported victims of sexual assault in the wake of numerous allegations against Harvey Weinstein, singer Seal Instagrammed this meme, showing Winfrey kissing the disgraced mogul. It reads, when you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution.
Please welcome Seal!
The 54-year-old who's appeared on Oprah's show captioned his post, "Oh, I forgot, that's right, you'd heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually serially assaulting young starry-eyed actresses, my bad." While Weinstein maintains his innocence, Seal hasn't commented further, and Oprah has not responded.
This moment is a really powerful time for everybody to get woke.
Fans have come to her defense, pointing out Winfrey is a assault survivor. They also posted pics of Seal's ex, Heidi Klum, kissing Weinstein too.
Chappelle stepped into that conversation in a massive way, boldly claiming that countless celebrities stay dangerously silent because of enormous contracts that come loaded with suffocating pressure. He even revealed that he personally turned down a staggering $50 million deal because he refused to feel controlled, and that jaw-dropping decision left the entire industry in shock. There were even explosive claims that Dave faced fierce backlash simply for having the courage to walk away, while others like Cat Williams stepped up alongside him, suggesting the industry had deliberately tried to paint Chappelle as unstable, simply for refusing to play by their rules.
Everybody is a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists liked and provided it, and provided the way for you to to have $1 billion and not create a fantasy island type environment has not existed throughout history.
Right. I mean, if I was going to run some global power organization, I would try to co-opt every single leader, try to suck them in, offer support, bring them out to wherever the fuck I have my big meetings, fly everybody in private jets to talk about the climate crisis.
All organizations have to follow the same rules.
Yeah. That's wild.
Recruitment is an important facet of all. Like,
we have to get some young global leaders.
Well, understand, this is the only reason that we can talk about these big Illuminati-like entities at this period of time. It's just because of time. Like, they aged out. Like, you can't get in new, so everybody got decrepit over there, and they can't exchange really through this period of history. And so that's how we ended up with the Bob Lazars and everything. Throughout history, you could really, it was much easier to get people to not tell nobody.
Right.
As part of your job. You know what I mean?
Now Oprah is facing a crushing wave of criticism, with people online furiously claiming that her true connections are finally being dragged into the light. Her ties to powerful and controversial figures are being thrust under a burning spotlight, especially after resurfaced photos emerged showing Winfrey interacting closely and intimately with Harvey Weinstein. One former guest from her own show even stepped forward, pointing directly to those damning images and demanding answers about just how deep those relationships really went. At the same time, an old clip from the Steve Harvey show has exploded back into viral territory, and it's stirring up a whole new wave of unsettling conversation. In the footage, a guest promotes an Oprah-endorsed anti-aging cream, claiming it was engineered using advanced skin cell technology. With 2026 Epstein file discussions reaching a fever pitch, some online voices are now desperately trying to connect these kinds of products to wild and disturbing theories about how certain celebrities maintain their appearance. But the conversation didn't stop there, not even close. People also zeroed in on a resurfaced moment where Sandra Bullock appeared on the Ellen DeGeneres show, openly discussing a cosmetic facial treatment used by actors to keep their skin looking perpetually fresh. While it was presented as nothing more than a high-end skincare method, critics online have seized that clip and violently pushed it into a far darker and more sinister narrative. Then come the resurfaced allegations involving Peter Nygard, another public figure who once enjoyed a prominent platform on Oprah's show. The deeply troubling accusations surrounding Nygard have poured even more fuel onto an already raging fire, with people furiously questioning how certain individuals were handed visibility and credibility despite serious accusations that would later surface. And as if that weren't enough, sharp attention has now turned toward Epstein's notorious New Mexico property, Zorro Ranch, where investigations have been relentlessly ongoing. Harrowing reports of alleged victims sharing deeply disturbing experiences have circulated widely, with many describing overwhelming confusion and paralyzing fear following encounters they simply could not explain. The situation has only unleashed a torrent of speculation online as a desperate public tries to piece together what truly happened behind those closed doors.
Technology that Peter and I are investing in is called SCNT, which takes the egg of a young, perfect woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus and puts our DNA in the nucleus. They just go in and take it out.
It's painful, right?
Huh?
Is it painful?
Yeah, a little bit. And this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. These curvy, sexy black women from Africa. You girls have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection, and we want some of that. So, girls, for $100, we will pay you for your egg.
No, you gotta be out of your monkey.
You want?
You can get paid a lot more than that.
So how much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500 for, I'm prepared to outbid him anyway. Whatever I bid, he's going to outbid me.
I bought about $60,000 worth of eggs.
Yeah.
If you have a portion.
That's very valuable. Umbilical cord, and placenta, even your period blood is so rich with stem cells. We regard it as waste, and it actually should be.
Recently released emails from the Epstein files show Jeffrey Epstein was interested in genetic medicine. He paid a researcher at Massachusetts General Hospital for tests that could be used to help create stem cells. Investigators found a $2,000 invoice from 2014 for sequencing part of Epstein's genome. The doctor that he paid also provided an estimate for personalized longevity studies that would use gene editing. He told investigators Epstein was enrolled in the Personal Genome Project at Harvard University.
As Cat Williams once boldly suggested, some people firmly believe Epstein operated as a shadowy middleman for the world's most powerful elites, quietly connecting dangerous people behind closed doors. That chilling idea keeps resurfacing because so many explosive high-profile names continue appearing across documents tied to his case, raising burning questions that still haven't been fully or honestly answered. Another deeply unsettling detail that grabbed widespread attention is the bizarre language discovered in certain emails from the Department of Justice document releases. Words connected to food, pizza, ice cream, and grape soda keep appearing repeatedly in contexts where they seem completely and disturbingly out of place. This has ignited a firestorm of intense online speculation, with many claiming these could be deliberate coded terms. And although no official investigation has confirmed that interpretation, it's exactly why so many critics push back hard against the notion that Epstein ever acted alone. They demand to know how someone connected to so many powerful and influential figures could possibly operate without others being deeply involved. Authorities, meanwhile, have firmly maintained that conclusions must be grounded only in verified evidence, even as public suspicion continues to spiral dangerously out of control. Ghislaine Maxwell has also been dragged back into the conversation, with past statements being frantically revisited and heatedly debated across the internet. At the same time, renewed and intense scrutiny has fallen back on Epstein's infamous properties, including his New Mexico ranch and the notorious Little St. James Island, both of which have been subjected to heavy investigation for years. Some victim testimonies have been nothing short of devastating, painting harrowing pictures of fear, confusion, and desperate attempts to escape. One account in particular stopped the internet cold, a survivor recalling a terrifying attempt to flee the island after enduring repeated trauma, saying they had already survived 2 prior escape attempts and were prepared to die swimming rather than spend another moment trapped on that island. Those shattering words continue to echo painfully as people struggle to comprehend the full and horrifying scope of what truly happened behind those closed doors. At this point, it is becoming nearly impossible for people to look away from the pattern that keeps emerging again and again: the same powerful names, the same suffocatingly tight circles, and the same deafening silence. Every single time something serious breaks through, whether it's crushing contracts, dangerous connections, or pure paralyzing fear, many believe something far bigger is actively preventing people from speaking freely. And those who do dare to step forward always seem to face swift and severe consequences. So what do you think about all of this? Is it all just one enormous coincidence, or is something far deeper and far darker lurking behind the scenes that people are only now beginning to truly notice? Let your voice be heard and drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more hard-hitting breakdowns like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so the truth can reach even more people.